For 125 years, the Salvation Army's Red Shield Defence Services have stood shoulder to shoulder with soldiers, providing invaluable support in times of conflict. Since 1899, the Salvos have faced the challenges of war across the globe, serving in many capacities. They've enlisted as combatants, musicians, nurses, sailors, pilots, mechanics, and in other roles. Many have also become military chaplains or Red Shield representatives, serving their country and their faith. From the Second Boer War and the two World Wars to conflicts in Malaya, Korea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Somalia, East Timor, and the Middle East, Australians and the Salvos have shared a deep bond in times of need.
I still did a bit of work up Owen's Corner, which is part of the track up the Kokoda Trail. It was a very, very steep mountain, really, and you climb down to the bottom of this and then got onto the track which took you further on. And I used to take supplies up, but the troops were still coming out either sick or injured, wounded, and this hut was a real godsend in many respects, in that they could stop there, have a rest, get a cup of coffee and something to eat, and then tackle this very, very steep climb up the place.
Service is a journey, challenging and rewarding, life-threatening and life-changing. It reveals who you are. In those quiet moments of reflection, when a soldier seeks a listening ear, the Salvos were there.
My work as a Red Shield representative is thrilling. Not only have I had some thrilling experiences, but there is the deeper and more abiding thrill of accomplishment, of doing something to improve the lot of the service girl. When you see tears change to smiles, frowns change to laughter, and despair change to cheerfulness, from providing comforts to umpiring a basketball match, or from praying with a troubled lass to secure wool through the Australia Comforts Fund without coupons. All these things and 100 other gladly done, fulfilling the motto, the Red Shield will find a way.
When we reflect on the stories of those in wars and conflicts, we see a clear bond between Australians and the Salvos, a connection forged over a brew and mutual respect.
One veteran came up and he had a Sally Man drink when he really was struggling in Vietnam in 1968. It was the only one he ever had, and he never ever forgot it because of the impact that it had on him at that time. They were doing it really hard. And 55 years later, he got his second brew off us down at the War Memorial. So 55 years between both drinks, but he never forgot the first one.
Today, the Red Shield Defence Services know the smallest act still makes a difference.
We drive around in our green Land Cruisers and literally just go and give them cups of tea, coffee, cold water, refreshing cordial, or jibby juice as they like to call it, and just stand around and have a chat and just be interested in, what they're actually going through.
We're here basically for morale, to make life better for each of the individuals, the soldiers, the partners, to bridge that gap between military life and civilian life, make a difference where we can, make a difference outfield. And I think the mandate is to help soldiers and their families in any way we can.
Some years later, after the war, I went over to Japan with the Commonwealth Occupation Force. I went to a Salvation Army Sunday night meeting conducted in Japanese. Sunday school superintendent of the Corps, about my age, who spoke excellent English, acted as an interpreter for us. The realisation hit me that night that here was I, a chap who during the war didn't feel any compassion towards the Japanese because of what they had done, but I was sitting beside this Japanese who during the war years was a bomber pilot, and yet here we were in a Salvation Army meeting all at one. And that's where I realised Jesus said, love your enemy and do good to those that despitefully use you. In Christ there is no east or west, south or north, but one great fellowship throughout the whole wide earth. So, I suppose if there was a moment of reconciliation for me, it was that night.
As we reflect on the last 125 years of Red Shield Defence Services, we see that as long as humanity exists, so will hardship and injustice. And as long as the Salvos exist, we will be there to walk alongside others with the love of Jesus.